On a rainy evening, on an empty street in the city, a faint crying sound was coming from under an old white car. People were passing by, coming and going, but no one stopped, because it was just a puppy. At least, that's what everyone thought. But that day, on his way home from work, Raihan stopped. He was tired, broken, struggling with his own life. Yet that soft crying sound wouldn't let him walk away. As he bent down and looked under the car, he saw a tiny puppy, trembling, its body covered in mud. It was completely soaked, its eyes wide with fear, as if it wouldn't survive another moment. Raihan slowly reached out his hand and whispered, "Don't be afraid, I'm here." The puppy tried to move but couldn't. Raihan took out an old towel from his bag and gently lifted it into his arms. At that moment, the little creature looked at him in a way that felt like it was asking, "Will you leave me too?" When Raihan got home, his mother scolded him at first. Their own situation wasn't good, and now a sick puppy? But behind her anger, her heart softened, because she could see it wasn't just shelter the puppy needed, it needed a chance to live. Raihan gently cleaned its body with warm water. As the mud washed away, a fragile, bony body appeared, scars on its skin, marks around its neck. It was clear someone had once kept it tied and then abandoned it. His mother brought some rice and chicken broth. The puppy just stared at the food as if it couldn't believe it was real. Then it began to eat slowly, lifting its head again and again, as if afraid someone might take it away. That night, Raihan named her Asha, which means hope, because at that time, hope was all he had left in his own life. The first day was difficult. Asha couldn't even stand. Every small sound made her shrink in fear. Even in her sleep, she trembled, as if old fears wouldn't let her go. The next day, Raihan took her to a doctor. The doctor said she had been starving for a long time and had infections, but with care, she would survive. She would survive. Those words lit a small light inside Raihan, too. On the third day, when Raihan entered the room, Asha tried to wag her tail. Just a little, but it meant everything. She was starting to trust again. On the fourth day, Raihan's mother picked her up in her arms. The same person who didn't want her before was now gently stroking her head, saying, "Why is there so much pain in this little one's eyes?" On the fifth day, Asha gained a little strength. She stood in the sunlight on the balcony, eyes closed, soaking in the warmth, as if she was finally realizing that the world wasn't entirely dark. On the sixth day, Raihan came home, heartbroken after a job interview. As soon as he opened the door, Asha ran toward him on her tiny legs. She rubbed her face against him, wagging her tail, looking at him as if to say, "You came back, that's enough." At that moment, Raihan broke down in tears, because while people had disappointed him, this small, wounded soul had given him more love than anyone ever had. Then came the seventh day. That morning, Raihan's mother called him, "Come quickly." Still half asleep, he walked in and froze. In front of him stood a completely different dog. Clean, beautiful, bright eyes, a blue ribbon around her neck, full of life, peaceful. She no longer trembled in fear. She stood with her head held high. Just then, a little girl from next door walked in and said, "Auntie, is this a new dog? She's so beautiful." Raihan and his mother looked at each other and smiled, because they knew this wasn't someone new. This was the same little soul who had cried under a car just a week ago. The only difference was, now she had love, she had safety, and that changed everything. That afternoon, Raihan got a phone call. From the same job interview he thought he had failed. He got the job. Smiling, he looked at Asha and said, "Since you came, everything has started to change." Asha didn't understand the words. She just came closer and rested her head on his lap. And in that moment, Raihan realized something. Sometimes we think we're saving someone, but the truth is that broken, lost, wounded soul ends up saving us. That day, under the car, it wasn't just a puppy crying. It was neglect, hunger, fear, and loneliness. And 7 days later, the one no one could recognize anymore hadn't just changed on the outside. She had learned to trust again. And in this world, there is no miracle greater then learning to trust again.